All right, and this is part 3. This will be, unlike that article, this will be more what we need to talk about, getting us ready for class tomorrow. So factors affecting voting behavior. These, again, geography, again, where you live is going to affect how you vote. We've looked at the Electoral College map we have in class, and you can see where, again, California, we're the left coast for a reason, because we're obviously very Democratic, or very Democrat, and again, the South is going to be, right now at least, very Republican. So if you look at it, you have the quote unquote the solid South, traditionally Democratic, but increasingly now Republican. So like I just said, it had in the past, especially with like elections like LBJ, when JFK made him his vice president, it was just to get the South. But now they're more Republican because of just recent developments in the past. Great Plains, there's a Republican trend there, and you have the Rocky Mountain region, again another Republican trend, and now you have the Rocky Mountains south, and they've kind of built this L kind of shape, as that's what that's saying. So they have a strong foothold there. New England, well, it has been Republican, but now it's getting increasing over the years more Democrat. Especially there's a race in Massachusetts right now that we'll be looking at that it has been held by a Republican, is getting ready to probably be lost to a Democrat. So that's just, again, reinforcing that trend. The Great Lakes region, Democrats, but you have swing states. We know that term. We have Ohio. We're going to really get into that interactive article that I have from the New York Times about the swing states and where they are. Very interesting stuff. I don't want to do it right now. It's interesting to see all these swing states, and the president, like Colorado's another one right now, even though it's part of the Rocky Mountains, but still a swing state, not sure where they're going to go. Wisconsin, another one. And so all these, what the politicians are doing right now in order to get those swing states in reference to the Electoral College and also in reference to the House and the Senate seats. And then you also have the far west, that's us, and we have a Democratic trend like we just talked about. So another factor affecting voting behavior is the presence of a strong presidential candidate. Coattail effect, again, that president's doing well, you want to jump on kind of that bandwagon, follow them, or the other. And the coattail effect from a politician standpoint would be, I'm riding the coattails of that party. If Obama's loved by the people, everybody would try to, every Democrat would try to have a picture taken with Obama in some sense, or have their re-election campaign would be, Obama supports me, or something of that nature, something to mention Obama, tie themselves to Obama, just to people go, oh, Obama, them, and vote them in. Another factor affecting voting behavior is time. Maintaining elections and political alignment remains, again, the same, 1960s, 1964. You have deviating elections, temporary change of political alignment, 1952, 56, talking with traditionally us as people and parties. Next one is you have critical realigning elections with long-term change in political alignment from the people, 1860, 1896, but 1932. Let's focus on the 32. 1932, you're going to be looking at FDR, him coming to power. We're in a recession, and how this shifts people, and again, toward being democratic, toward being a Democrat, because the Republicans have done nothing. We got to blame somebody. So that was a big one. And then another thing is, it's kind of interesting in this category, is midterm elections. Party in power has lost seats to Congress every midterm election except, since 1938, except 1998 and 2002. And so in this last election, in the House, again, the Republicans gained control of the House. They didn't gain control of the Senate in 2010, but that's close right now. Another factor affecting voting behavior is political party identification. This, like it says here, probably the strongest predictor of voting behavior. People are proud of their party. And this right here just shows 7-point scale party identification. You can look at that. It's pretty self-explanatory. But probably the strongest predictor of voting behavior is your political party identification. But it seems like, I beg to differ now in the divided government we're in, but past trends have been vote the man, not the party. But it seems like now vote the party, not the man. I think we're going back to that. You also have straight ticket voting, which has declined in years, facilitated by party call-in ballot. Straight ticket voting, you're just going to vote that ticket rather than really, again, vote the man. But it'll be interesting to see what those two are, if they change during this next election. Then you have split ticket voting, increased in recent years, facilitated by office column ballot. Again, you might vote one way. You just, again, you vote. You can be registered Democrat, but in the presidential election, you might vote for the Republican in certain other areas. You don't vote straight party lines. Another big one here, though, is independents, and they have had a rising number. There's been a decline in Democrats and Republican members over the years because a lot of rising number of independents they don't necessarily agree with either party, and so again they might be leaners one way, independent Republican or independent Democrat, but again, like I said, that's been increased. What I find interesting, many of these tend to be young, college educated, and above average incomes. I'm going to say you. In about 10 years, this is going to be you probably. A lot of you will be more independent. Remember, you might be conservative on moral issues or economic issues and more liberal on, social issues, which will make you a moderate, but you might not agree with any party, so therefore you become an independent. And then there's going to be demographic factors, and this is where I'll stop. We will talk about this in class tomorrow a little bit after we get done with our activity, but I also want to do another activity involving this. And I'm going to put in some discussion questions. And the discussion question we already talked about, we had one from the last little lecture relating to that article, and then you also